25 to begin the show. You guys have been asking about this. You guys have been like, Naj, we want to see this. So this is my top 25. I really want to get you guys' thoughts. So please comment on this and let me know obviously what you think. I will reveal this right now. And this is Najee Wilkins college football top 25, man. Let's talk about it. All right, so we'll start at the bottom and then we'll go up. All right. So at number 25, I went California. I thought California did some great things in the portal, nabbing some players in, building this team and this roster around JKS, right, which is Jerron Kiwi Sakapatule. And I feel like they have one of the top portal classes that's not being talked about enough. And I feel like this could be a dangerous year for them, right? I feel like this is a year that California could surprise a lot of people. And when you look at their schedule, guys, like they don't have a whole bunch of teams, right? That really scares you, right? Like when we look at their schedule from top to bottom, like this is a team that can win a lot of football games. To me, in a wide open ACC outside of the Miami Hurricanes, right? Like who in this conference really scares you? Besides maybe the Miami Hurricanes. So I feel like for this team, as we pull up the schedule here just really quickly, I feel like it's very winnable, right? UCLA, they have not been good in years, right? We know they have slow starts to the season. Syracuse is not the same team. We'll see what Steve Angeli looks like this year under Frank Brown. Wagner, probably one of your tougher matchups, but they have to come to you all the way from South Carolina. It's Clemson. You have UNLV. VT will be obviously a tough game. Wake Forest at SMU will probably be the toughest game on the schedule for obviously JKS in California, but NC State, Virginia, Stanford, Pitt, all those are winnable games to me. So maybe you have one or two games that are tough. So this team could easily win between 9 and 10 games, right? So I feel like that is why I ranked them. I feel like this is a team that's being slept on a little bit. They had a really good portal class. They got receivers galore. This team, I think, is going to be pretty good this upcoming season. So that's why I ranked them at 25. 24 is Auburn. I feel like Auburn's a little bit underrated, right? I know some people was like, Naj, their coach said this. They weren't the most crisp when they had their first scrimmage. Look, man, this team is going to run the football, right? When you look at Mapson, Bryson Washington, Jeremiah Cobb, right? Byron Brown is going to be kind of just a stickler in there. And then Keyshawn Singleton and those boys, like they're gonna run the football, use play action, do their thing down the field. But I love that the identity of this team has been already established, right? Run the ball, play good defense with Elijah Melendez, right? Obviously, all those pieces in there, in the cornerback room, obviously defensive line of Dallas Clark, right? And obviously you have Jarrett Smith as another player to watch for the Auburn defense. But this offense just has to meet what the defense is going to be able to do this year, and I think they will. Have an identity, having Byron Brown, who does not turn over the football like that, smart with the football. I think Auburn could be very sneaky in a very tough SEC. I think this is a team to me that should be ranked and obviously has great potential, in my humble opinion, when it comes to obviously the Auburn Tigers. All right. And then number 23, I think this should be a big year, a big come up, obviously, for Houston. What I'm saying? Connor Wigman returns, obviously, for them after doing a little bit of an injury. So he'll be a player to continue to watch for Houston. But in the wide open Big 12, it feels like with some of the moves they made in this roster, I feel like Houston is a team that can really sneak up on you, can have key roles this year. And I think after, losing Dean Connors, who had a big role last year, 977 rushing yards and all that good stuff, this is still a team that can make some noise and make some big time plays. All right. And then they return their star wide receiver, Amari Thomas. He had 600. My last playing to add. He had 67 catches, 966 yards, and 12 touchdowns a season ago. So I really feel like this is a guy that people aren't talking about enough. And I feel like for Houston, they could be sneakily dangerous. Now, Virginia Tech is one I know you're going to be like, Nas, why are they ranked 22? VT for me is a team with obviously Kamari Copeland, right? You look at a team that has Marcellus Hawkins, right? You look at a team that has Ethan Gronkmeyer as a quarterback, right? They're gonna have obviously Keyshawn Brown on the outside. I just feel like VT, this is the year that they I don't want to say sneak up on people because people are respecting VT a little bit more with them getting James Franklin, but I feel like this is a team that has the core pieces to be dangerous this year, the core pieces to make some noise in the conference that I still feel like is wide open outside of Miami and the ACC. So I feel like VT should be a sneaky team this year. They should be really good, and I feel like they're gonna make some noise. GT, I just think they was ranked 41. You have to really know the program and know the team and know the institution. Really good defensive line, bro. Like they went and really specified on the defensive line, getting guys like Jordan Walker, who they named a permanent captain, right? Obviously Noah Carter on the inside, Tawfiq Thomas, Christian Garrett, Christian Speakman, right? Shamik Jones, right? This team from top to bottom to me is loaded on the defensive line, and they really preface that. And then linebacker room, they have four veterans, man, and Melvin Jordan, Kyle Eford, Cayman Spalding, EJ Lights, and they got two freshmen are pushing those guys up. And obviously, CJ Gamble and Braylon Outlaw. And I feel like this back end has probably the most talent they've had in the Brick Key era. No disrespect. But when you look at Tay Harris, Phoenix Fell, and Savion Riley, then you have obviously Jonas DeClona, who should help out in the slot position, along with Kelvin Hill, Jalen Mbakwe, Daquan White, right? And you still got Travis Stevenson, Jaden Terry. Like, this team feels like they should be able to be better defensively. They should be able to carry the load a little bit. And then when you obviously look at, this team offensively running the ball, they went and got Justice Haynes for a reason. Run the ball with him, Malachi Holsley, the bad boys. Tight end room is really good. I think you would simplify it, make it really easy. Kevin Roche Jr., Gavin Harris, Chris Corbo, and then hopefully the receivers will be ready to go. It's gonna be a very young wide receiver room. It might be some struggles early on, but you have the tight ends, you have the running backs, which is a key cornerstone identity. And for me, they're ranked because I feel like this is a team that can make some noise early in the season and really wake some people up. So that's why they're in my top 25. I feel like Georgia Tech is going to surprise the people this year. Utah is Utah. I feel like the Utes, after losing their head coach, obviously Kyle Whittingham, who's now with Michigan, they still have a really good core team. Right, last year got better. They bring back the quarterback Devontae and Pierre for another year. This should be a team that still is very competitive. Obviously, in their conference, it should be to make some noise to me in the Big 12. Oklahoma, I ranked them lower than what people had them at number 10. Brutal schedule. Brutal schedule for them. I know really good defense in Brent Venables, who just got an extension for the Sooners. I want to see how John Mateer looks. So that's my pause for concern. How does he look after that finger injury? Right? Is he the same quarterback? Because before the injury, he was in the Heisman conversation. And then he kind of fell off a cliff a little bit, right? And for Oklahoma, a little bit of a disappointing finish. After being up 17-0 against Alabama, you blow the game, you blow the lead. How do you respond from that? I don't know if I can rank them in the top 10. You know what I'm saying? In my humble opinion, just not knowing what they're gonna have, not knowing how they're gonna look. So that's the team I'm waiting on, pausing a little bit. Now, 18 Tennessee, they've already named their true starting quarterback in Faison Brandon. Everybody knows that, but they have all the pieces around him to be very good, right? When you look at Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley, right, TK Keys, Darius Jackson, Travis Smith Jr. Then at the running back room, Javin Gordon, Deshaun Bishop, right, and obviously Justin Baker. This team to me, with a good offensive line in David Sanders, Wendell Moe, Jesse Perry, all these guys, they have a really good offensive line. This team should be able to make a lot of plays offensively. And I think just for Coach Heupel, just simplify the game plan. Make the game plan easy, make it make sense. And I think for him, if he does that, this team will be just fine. So I think that's the key for this team this year. The only concern for me is defensive line wise. Will it be as good? You lost Chaz Coleman, the whole situation. New defensive coordinator Jim knows. A lot of injuries to the Darius Hurd, to obviously Jaden Harmon, and now Idris Farouk. Defensively, a little bit of concern there if he'll be the same linebacker room. Amari Campbell and obviously Aaron Carter, your best players, but I don't know how good it's going to be. In my humble opinion. 17 Penn State. I didn't rank them as high as some other teams. I do think Penn State would be good with Rocco Beck, obviously their coach Matt Campbell, and pretty much getting a vast majority of the roster from Iowa State. And obviously we know the Big Ten will be very top heavy, but this should be a team with an experienced quarterback, with an experienced coach, should be to obviously make some room this year and make some plays. Now, I ranked SMU higher, than 19. I ranked them at number 16, but because same thing, veteran leadership, veteran quarterback, really good coach. The key for SMU is, can you get stops defensively, right? Can you be better than that? Because you had a lot of games won last year with Kevin Jennings, who was airing the ball out and doing what he was supposed to do, but his defense just simply couldn't get stops, right? So that's the team for me, SMU. Can the defense be better? That's one of their biggest questions. Offensively, they'll be fine. Defensively, can you be better? 15, Texas Tech. I didn't want to rank them too high. 15 is like good, right in the middle. Got to see what happens. They're rooming to get a quarterback. We'll see what happens with that team. They lost a lot of pieces last year, right? They lost, obviously, Rodriguez, you know what I'm saying? Jacob Rodriguez. They obviously lost Romello Height, right? They obviously lost their quarterback, you know what I'm saying? And I just want to see how do they respond? How do they, after the whole Brendan Sorsby situation, obviously they're training for a quarterback now. How would Texas Tech look? I don't know. They're a little bit of a mystery right now, but I rate them because I know the defense will be good again, but can the offense match in the postseason? We'll see. 14, you got to rate Michigan in here, man. 14 is a really good spot for them, in my humble opinion. Jordan Marshall, Savion Hyder, obviously Bryce Underwood, really good, obviously secondary. In my humble opinion, one of the better ones in college football, and obviously really good. We'll see how good this receiving core will be this upcoming year, but really good defensive line as well. But Michigan, with Kyle Whittingham, with the offensive guru, should be a lot better this upcoming season. Then you have Alabama. Alabama's Alabama, right? Named Keelan Russell the starter, very smart, in my opinion, obviously by their head coach, Kalen DeBoer. You don't want to play no games with this. You want to make sure you get the right guy at the helm, Make sure he's doing the right things. Make sure he's helping your team out. And I think the key for them is the running back room. Can this running game get back to where it goes? Because when you have a young quarterback that's a sophomore, he has to have a good complementary run game. You don't want to put too much pressure on him, right? Which is why I didn't rank them in the top 10. I want to see what he's going to be able to do, in my humble opinion, when it comes to that. But defensively, should be good. Dijon Lee, Xavier Brown, you know what I'm saying? Really good linebackers, man. Luke Metz is coming on from what I've heard. Got Marshall Pritchard at the tight end position. Receivers galore, Sedarian Morgan, Derek Meadows, Latia Brooks, Ryan Coleman Williams. You know what I'm saying? They just have to be able to run the football. Can this offensive line be more physical? Can they get more push? That's what I think gets them into the top 10. But Bama is a team I'm still watching, and I think they should be very interesting this year. And you have a higher ceiling with Keelan Russell as your quarterback. At 12, you got obviously BYU. I love Brett Bachmeyer. I feel like he's a player that's a stud. Freshman, true freshman last year played. They were really good last year. I think they had 10 plus wins, probably 11 wins last year. You right there in obviously the Big 12 championship. You lost to Texas Tech. How do you respond to that? You got LJ Martin coming back another year there in Alexander as your cornerback. I think this team should still be very good this upcoming season in the Big 12 and should be able to obviously make some noise. So BYU top 12 for me. Now this one I really wanted to rank them in the top 10. I was on edge between LSU and USC, but I think USC is gonna have a really good year under Lincoln Riley. I think this defense has gotten better. You got Luke Waffle, who's a true freshman. I think it's going to have an impact. Jaden Mayava comes back another year. You still got Corey Sims right on the outside, and you got a really good running game as well. So the key for USC is defense, right? Some games they was going to shootouts with Notre Dame, going to shootouts with some of these teams. It couldn't get stops. I feel like they have the edge rushers, the defense now to make some noise. And I feel like this should be the year for Lincoln Riley to get this USC football team to a college football playoff. No excuses. LSU, put them in the top 10. I feel like with Wayne Kiffin, everything that he brings to the table, obviously quarterback is Sam Levy. That's really good. Harlem, Barry, Caden Durham. And then on the outside, you got obviously Jace Brown. You know what I'm saying? You got a stud tight end in Trey'Dez Green. Just the question will be, the defense, right? LSU was a team that played well offensively last year. Obviously, had some games where they didn't play as good, but can you get more stops? What Weeks is there? We know. Obviously, you got Prince, who came over from the portal. Obviously, you got DJ Pickett, but can his defense match the offense of play this upcoming year? We will find out. Number 9, I wanted to rank Texas A&M. I feel like they're a football team that I don't know. I feel like Marcel Reed slept on a lot. But I feel like defensively, this is a team they lost some pieces. Nick Scourton, Cassius Howell. How do they replace that defensive line wise? Who's going to be the next upcoming edge rusher? But the wide receiver room should be really good this year. Aaron Gregory is a true freshman. Everybody's been talking about. Good running game yet again. Texas A&M to me is going to be a top 10 team this year and should be very dangerous. Now, Ole Miss one was hard because you got some that were ranked in top 4, top 5. New obviously head coach. I know Pete Golden was there last year and he finished up as the interim. But for Ole Miss, losing some of the pieces to the portal. So losing some of these pieces to LSU, can this team defensively still be, what I'm saying, that caliber? Can they still be top tier? Right? Offensive, I'm not worried. With Kevon Lacey, still got Deuce Alexander, you still got Trinidad Chambers, QB1. They have everything they need. Can you be better defensively? But I feel like Ole Miss is going to be able to go toe to toe with anybody with how prolific that offense is, and I think it will be yet again. All right. Then Notre Dame at number 7, you got CJ Carr in there. How do they replace Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love? Right. CJ Carr, this is his team now, right? And we know this team still likes to run the football, right? We know about how they had last year Malachi Fields and Jordan Faison, all those guys. How does this offense look with CJ Carr as QB? And obviously last year taking some of the lumps, getting better as the season wore on. Can they go forward? But I think this is a top 10 team with defensively having a top cornerback, having some top pieces. They should be really good this year. And then you got Oregon. Some people had Oregon higher. I did not. I did not like what I saw from Oregon last year. Obviously bring back Dante Moore, which is huge for them. Obviously we'll have a really good running game. We know about DeCorian Moore, who should be a top player probably in college football this upcoming season. But I want to see a little bit more from Oregon before I rank them above Ohio State or Indiana, teams they've struggled with, right? So 5, Ohio State. I didn't rank them number 1. I seen some trepidation a little bit. I seen some cracks in the armor, some chinks in the armor with the quarterback last year. He was very accurate, y'all. But in that big game against Miami, he was rattled, right? So for me, I want to see a little bit more from him, right? And it's not the same team for everybody that asks. Like, this is a different team. That's how I rank it too. Like, no Arville Reese, no Sonny Styles, no Caleb Downs, right? Replacing a lot of your defensive line. How do you kind of come back from that? How do you get better? You know what I'm saying? From that offensively, you still should be pretty good. You got Bo Jackson, you got Jeremiah Smith, you got obviously Chris Henry Jr. coming in, but defensively, will you be the same team caliber of opponent? Defense, I don't know. Can't answer that. For Indiana, they defended national champions. They should be in this conversation. They went in the portal. They got Josh Hoover, who was pretty good at TCU. You went and got Nick Marsh, excuse me, as well to help out this team. And you still got a good running game. You got defensively with Elijah Hardy. Indiana, not saying they're the number one team in the country, but this is still a top five team in my opinion. When Kirk Cincinnati is the coach, everything he brings to the table. And then three, my Miami Hurricanes, I feel like we got disrespected. Like we were 7-8 in some polls. Like how in the hell we a top three team in the nation right now? We got Darian Mitchell, who came from Duke, second in passing touchdowns, second in passing yards. He should be a Heisman candidate this year. And then we brought back our entire running back room basically with Mark Fletcher, Gerard Pringle, and those boys, right? And then obviously offensive line will look a little bit different, but defensively we turn a lot of pieces as well. Mohamed Toure, yes, we got to replace Ruben Bain Jr. and obviously Akeem Messidor, but we still got Damon Wilson, we still got Ahmad Moulton. You know what I'm saying? Defensively, we still got Bryce Fitzgerald, we got OJ Frederick. Like, how are we not a top two team in the nation? Made that make sense for me. So that's why my rankings, I put my Hurricanes as number three. I think we are a top three team in the nation, and we have everything we need to go back to the national championship. Then obviously at number two, Georgia. I think Georgia from top to bottom has everything they need to be dangerous this year. Georgia is a really good football team. I think they should be in national contention again this year. Quarterback wise, and Gunnar Stockton, he's really good. Running back room will be very good, led by Nate Frazier. Right, obviously they got other pieces in there that's going to be able to help out with that as well. Offensive line, I think, has gotten a lot better. And then defensive line, that's the big difference for them. Can they create more pressure and can they be better against the run and stop the big plays? Those are going to be the two components for Georgia, but I think they are a top two team in the nation. And then at number one, my final one, Texas. For me, Texas is a football team, no excuses this year. We'll talk about something later on a little bit in the show, but you have Arch Manning, Cam Coleman, right? Ryan Wingo, you got Hollywood Smothers, you got Raleek Brown, you got a really good freshman class coming in here to help you out. Samari Smoke Matthews, Tyler Atkinson, right? We know about Grayson Littleton last year. He's coming back for another year. He'll be a sophomore this year, right? Colin Simmons is in there, right? You got to replace Michael Taft and some of those pieces. But if you Texas, you have everything you need to be good this year. There's no excuses. You retool the offensive line. We know Trevor Gooseby went down with an injury, but this should be a football team that should be the top in the nation right now. And I know people can be like, no, well, we down Texas number one last year, and look what happened. This ain't the same football team. They've gotten better than what they were last year. And this is a team I think that's top in the nation. And you're not going to convince me otherwise. And I think you can't really mess with this team or this squad this upcoming year. So that's my top 25. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I think this should be a really good list, and we'll see what happens from week to week as I update it myself and how I rank the teams and different things like that, man. But wanted to bring this, you guys obviously liked it up when I did a poll on it, so I definitely wanted to bring that to you guys' attention.